Hey guys, it's Tiny Tom Logan back with another video for you, and today we're going to be taking a look at the much anticipated Nvidia GTX560 Ti. Now, there's so much I need to get in with this video, so very early on this is going to be one of my classic Yabber on videos. We will do a lot of benchmarking and gaming towards the end. But for all the regulars out there that like a good cup of tea and a biscuit with their videos, press pause now, get it into 1080 mode, let it buffer, go and make yourself a cup of tea, and then we can pick this up, you know what I mean, when you've got everything ready and you're sat down ready for a good video. But straight off the bat, what I'm going to do is cut you straight in so that you can have a good look at this card up close. And also, as ever, geek porn for the win. Going to take the card apart so you can have a decent look at the PCB and the cooler as well. Here we go then, up close and personal with the 560. I'll keep moving it around so you can see. Now, obviously this is just a normal reference design one. You can see there you've got the two 6-pins for power. And there are lots of cutouts all the way around the card to let the hot air escape. It has got cutouts at the back, but obviously not all of the air is going to get passed out there. Something I do want to draw attention to is the card is concave, in the middle. It's got a... You can see there that the fan points out more. Now, a lot of you might wonder why they've done this, but if you imagine that you've got a motherboard, like the Asus Sabertooth for example, where the graphics slots, if you want to run two cards, it puts the two cards right up against each other rather than having that spare slot in the middle, so it's a 2-slot gap rather than a 3-slot gap. If you have the graphics card right up against each other, then having that little bit of concave in the middle still allows it to draw the air in better to the fans. So theoretically, at least, you would think it would help with temperatures. But anyway, if we have a look on the back quickly, you've got mini HDMI there, and you'll probably get an adapter with it with the retail stuff, and two DVIs, so all kind of normal. But anyway, what I want to do now is get this card taken apart so we can have our geek porn for the day. Right, I'm going to shut up. Let's get this thing taken apart. Extreme nudity warning for the next part of the video. Anyone under the age of 18 is required to kiss their screen 3 times to activate the adult version of this video. Right, hopefully there's lots of people out there now with wet screens, but never mind. Here we go then, guys. This is the GTX 560, all undressed. It's quite a simple PCB. For those eagle-eyed amongst you wondering what that green thing is, that's just one of the thermal pads I've realised I've missed to try and take off. Anyway, yeah, quite a simple PCB when you think about it. There's not a massive amount going on there. It's all nice and clear cut. Will obviously help with airflow and the like. But if I move this out of the way, I'll give you another slow look as we go along. But if I move this out of the way, then we can come to the cooler. Now, considering this is a lower end Nvidia, this one hasn't got, at least I do not think it has any kind of vapour chamber. It's back to the good old fashioned copper and cooler. But these coolers, I can't help but think that these are like chopped down OEM Intel CPU heatsinks. That's definitely what it makes me think of anyway. The pattern is very, very similar. But then this one almost looks like it's got a version of MSI's cyclone heatsink nailed on the outside. So definitely an interesting cooler for a stock card. The shroud literally just sits over the top, so it's not doing anything. And then if I flip it over, you can just see the underside where it makes contact with the heat sinks with like the MOSFETs, power regulators, and the RAM. But there we go. One last look at the two together. And that concludes the naked geek porn segment of this video. Right then, so you've seen the card nice and up close now. I've got it running here by the side of me. You've also seen the actual cooler in the side. I'm quite impressed with that little cooler, to be quite honest with you, because it does look like a miniature version of the MSI Cyclones. So a very good cooler there. And to be quite honest with you, going straight in to talk about performance and the temperatures and everything like this, the cooler does work very well, and it's very much following what Nvidia have done with the 570 and the 580, where the cards do get quite warm, sort of like 80-ish, you know, up to sort of like 90 when they're completely maxed overclocked. The thing is that the fan hardly ever really spins up, so it stays really quiet. Now, to be perfectly frank with you, if it came to having a quiet Nvidia card the way that they work, or something like the 6950 or the 6970 with the reference coolers on, I'd rather go with the Nvidias, because the noise of the 6970 is daft. It's always wah, keeps spinning up, really doesn't work very well at all, or at least it's loud. It's a bit of a leaf blower. But with the Nvidia way of doing things, it's much quieter. Yeah, the temperatures can kind of eke up a little bit more, but they're much quieter. And as all of you guys are aware, I use the NHD14 as well. So I do like my cooling performance, but at the same time I do like a nice quiet system. So I would definitely go towards quiet rather than, do you know what I mean, loud. And yeah, at the end of the day, much prefer a bit of quietness. But you guys want to know what it's like. Now I'm going to show you 3D Mark Vantage and 3D Mark 11 and like all the games and stuff towards the end. But out of the box, it is a very competitive card. Coming in at the UK, £199. Now, instantly, when I heard 199, I was expecting around the kind of 180 mark. What we need to remember is the 460 1GB, when that first came out, was 199 quid. So it's coming in at roughly the same price point. It's not necessarily the card it's replacing, but the previous generation that you kind of, do you know what I mean, you're expecting it to be trying to better. So it comes in at 199 quid. Now I was kind of in two minds when I first heard that, but that was before I used it. When it's stock, it's a very good card. A lot of you are instantly going to be saying, oh, how does it do against the 6870? Walks past the 6870. How does it do against the 6950? Walks past the 6950. Kind of only leaves the 6970 there. Lovely phone text. Only really leaves the 6970. Well, it beats the 6970 as well. Bearing in mind that the 6970 is a £280+ graphics card. Most of them coming in around the kind of 300 nicker mark. So it does beat it easily in everything but Unigine, but we kind of know that ATIs are tweaked to like Unigine anyway. So yeah, £199 versus 280 odd quid, easily. But this card's trump card is the overclocking, because it is absolutely, and I don't mind saying this out loud because it's about the only thing I can think of, it's batshit crazy. It's unbelievable. Now, basically, with the OEM cards or the reference cards straight from Nvidia, because that's what this is, they don't support voltage tweaking, but everything's kind of there in the BIOS in the background. Now, I'm not going to go into the program that I use, but I have got a program that can see these tweaks that are just kind of hidden, so Afterburner won't touch it. Afterburner it can't change the voltages, can't see that it's allowed. But the program that I've got does. Now I'm not going to tell you what it is or anything like that, because it doesn't save the settings. Each time you restart you have to go back in, change it all, mess about. It's not that type of program, it's just something that a few of us use. It is very handy, but the reason why I'm mentioning this is because I can see those voltage changes now, which Asus, EVGA, all of those kind of MSI, all of those kind of aftermarket vendor companies are going to enable, and in some respects as well, they will even increase the voltage that's allowed. I had up to 1.115 available from around a 1 volt stock up to about 1.15. So a little bit more voltage there to play with. And it's 825 on the core stock. But what did I get overclocked? Smile. I got over a gigahertz stock stable. I was running 1050 megahertz, absolutely rock solid stable. I got 2100 stock on the memory. I probably could have pushed that further if I'd really bothered, but I just got to the point where it was just unreal. And in overclocked, guys, I was getting 22,500 3D mark points. Just, this card is absolutely mental. It's 199 quid, and in both stock and overclock settings, as near as damn it walks past, it's as good, if not better, than the 6970. It's quiet, it's small, it's well priced. I mean, what the bloody hell has happened? Just a year ago, I was literally telling everyone that the 460 was the only card Nvidia had made that was any good. I slated the 470, I slated the 480, and I was quite open about it. Nvidia really didn't receive it very well, but as all of the regulars know, I'm about the truth. How things have changed. If I'm going to be completely honest, if there was, as far as cards are concerned now, apart from like when you get really cheap and then you can still buy a 460, so it doesn't matter, but as far as the cards are concerned now, I honestly see Nvidia walking away with the crown in pretty much every way possible. The 560, the 570 and the 580 in their own respects and price brackets are absolutely spot on. They really have taken all the criticisms that we gave them last year, and there were a lot of them. They've listened to them, they've taken them all on board, they've trotted off, and they've come back with 3 cards that are completely spot on. This one, yes, it's the 560 Ti, so it's the top end of the 560s. We're kind of, Nvidia aren't saying anything, but we are expecting lower end versions of the 560, but also there are a lot of rumours going around that there's going to be a 550 as well, so that you could be seeing a sub £160, £150 graphics card with a 550. Now if the other 3 are anything to go by, we just kind of hope that they don't trim it back too much and still make that a very, very viable basic graphics card. But if there's anyone out there at this moment in time with about 200 quid looking to spend on a graphics card and are thinking, do I buy this, do I buy that, do you know what I mean, do I buy a red team, do I buy a green team, there quite literally is no comparison. £200, £300, £450, whatever you want to spend, the money, in my eyes, has to be spent on an Nvidia card. And that's a statement I never thought I would make. I got so much slack from a lot of people just saying I was an ATI fanboy, AMD fanboy, all that kind of thing. But I'm not. I'm just a realist. And when a company brings out a decent product, I don't mind saying about it. And to be quite honest with you, Nvidia, in the last couple of 3 months, have brought out several completely bonkers products. The overclocking on this alone is just, it's awesome. Obviously with the overclocking it's going to depend on your ability, your system, what voltages your card allows you to get and stuff like that. But to be fair, just to use mine as a rough guide, you should easily get a gigahertz on the core with a reasonable voltage increase. They do get a bit warm. I have seen upwards of 80 degrees, but they sit there quiet. You know, I was playing Crisis the other day, got a little bit too involved with it. We wanted to see how far we could push the card. 4 hours continuous gameplay at the overclocked state, and the maximum voltage, the maximum temperature that we've seen, and that was, you know, the room temperature was going up and everything like that, but the maximum temperature we saw was 87, and the card had not spun up at all. It was just sat there, very calm and collected. Now a lot of you are going to say, yes, you know, I mean, that's a warm temperature, and you're perfectly right, it is a warm temperature, but as I keep stating, it was incredibly quiet. If you'd have put that kind of temperature on on an ATI card, or even saying, to keep things fair, if you'd have put that temperature on a 470 or a 480, the card would have been going completely nuts. Just proper blowing leaves out the back. You could have taken the graphics cards out and like used it to blow leaves around your garden. This is much more calm and collected. Just going to make the gaming experience much better when you haven't got to turn your headphones up, you know, to max to be able to drown out the noise from your system. But yeah, completely bonkers. Now as far as awards are going to go, because I'm going to do all the benchmarks and everything at the end, but as far as awards go with this card, it's going to be 199 quid. So as far as price is concerned, compared to performance, we're going to give it a 10. When you come to performance as well, a 10. The only thing that we marked it down slightly on, because it's an OEM, we gave it an 8 for presentation, because at the end of the day it's just a basic card, we've got a box, it's just, but it's still a good looking card. As I showed you in the video before, it's got that slightly concaveness to the heatsink here, so it goes in towards the fan. Now obviously Nvidia have not said anything specific, but just looking at that from my point of view, it's going to allow air to get in around the card. If you've got, for argument's sake, like an Asus Sabertooth, where when you put the cards in for duals, they're right smack side by side, so you've not got that extra kind of what we'd like to see, not got that extra PCI gap there. But if you've got that little concave, should allow more airflow into the fan. So hopefully in SLI, if you have got those, you know, smack side by side, it should run a bit cooler, because you'll be able to get more air in there. So there's lots of little things on this I really, really like, and it's actually quite refreshing for me to be able to give Nvidia a big thumbs up. And awards wise, we're going to give it a gold, and we're going to give it performance. We did think about giving it value for money, but then a lot of people are going to, you know, kind of question the value for money. But if we had have gotten value for money, it would have been because of the amount of performance you get for that 200 quid. It's just, it's nuts, and it's absolutely crackers. These should fall off the shelves. I expect by the time that we see them with vendors and other people, so for argument's sake, like Asus, EVGA, MSI, by the time they do their things with it, do you know what I mean, slap their sticker on it, put it in a swanky box and all that kind of stuff, we probably are going to see the prices going up to around the £225 mark. But obviously you can look around for bargains, you can get the ones, do you know what I mean, do a bit of research, find the ones that you want. It's obviously stuff I can't talk about at the moment because I'm making this video before they've even been released in the shops properly yet. So yeah, just have a good look around. But to be perfectly frank, I've already told you this is performing better than a £280 ATI card. So it's a no-brainer. Hopefully, and into the near to distant future, we are going to be bringing you like SLI and stuff like that with these. We might even be doing them sort of like SLI with other cards. But anyway, it's all about the 560. Absolutely crackers. If you've got the money for a card, don't think twice. Just head out straight away now. Spank your money on one of these. I guarantee you, for the money that you spend, you will not be disappointed. They're just completely nuts. So, thumbs up and another thumbs up. absolutely crackers. But what we're going to do now is I'm going to bring you in and we're going to do some benchmarks on the card, do some, do you know what I mean, so you can see the performance. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up in its overclocked state so you can see how far you can get it if you get the right card, or do you know what I mean, you put the effort in. So we'll do it in overclock state, which is something I don't normally do, but it's just, I've got to show you this because they are bonkers. So yes, I'm going to be shush, but also in the videos keep an ear out for the fan. Remember, there's a hefty voltage increase, and I'm leaving it completely on auto. So keep your ears open and you'll hear exactly what I'm trying to say about how quiet this is.